Good morning and welcome to your practice. I'm Amy, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a stretch class. So, not a lot of intensity, thinking about letting our nervous system recover, stretching our muscles out, lengthening through the body, and really focusing on our breath. So, just kind of taking what you need today. I'm personally quite sore and feel really fatigued in my body, so I was looking for some movement that would kind of get me warm, but not necessarily really intense. So that is our main goal for today's class. So when you're ready, we're going to lie on our backs in a hook lying position. And just begin to bend the knees wherever it feels most comfortable for you. Relax the face, the jaw, the shoulders, the belly, the arms, the hips, the pelvis, the knees, the ankles, the feet, the toes. Begin to just feel the weight of your body melt into the earth. Begin to focus on cycling the breath in through your nose, and maybe out through the nose, and perhaps you take a couple of deep breaths in and out if you feel like you haven't been able to take a deep breath in a while. Sometimes it's nice just to take a few cycles of deep inhalations and deep exhalations. So as you're tuning into your breath, just feeling again the weight of your body melting into the earth, earth holding you, supporting you, and feeling the sensation of ease, knowing that you can just let go and nothing else is important right now, just simply finding an inhale and an exhale. If you would like to set an intention for your movement practice today, feel free to do so now. And take one more breath in and one more breath out. And just keep the breath moving. We're going to bring our feet a little closer towards our hips, bring our hands a little closer towards our hips as well. Press strong into the hands, the arms, the shoulders, the feet, and lift your hips up off the mat. We're just going to hold a bridge for a moment. Just beginning to create some heat in the body. So as we go into some deeper stretches, we don't want to be super cold. We want to start to warm the body. And here in Alabama, it's a little cool this morning for the end of May, so I need to warm up a little bit. Good. Take a couple more breaths here. If you need a little bit more heat, you can feel free to lift just the left foot up off the mat. Keep those hips stable. And then placing left foot down if you have it lifted, and maybe lift the right foot up. No pressure to go here, just finding what you need. Maybe energize through that heel. Place right foot down. One more breath in, hold the bridge, and then softly lower to the mat. Begin just to bring the knees in, the feet out wide. Take a few cycles of breath here. Heel toe the feet towards one another. Begin to bring the right knee into your chest and cross right ankle over left thigh. You could stay here. You could just simply pull the knee towards your chest or reach through your hands through this little hole you've created, grabbing either the back of the left leg or the shin of the left leg, just finding a place that feels good on that left knee. And we'll pull our right toes towards our right knee, flexing our heel, protecting that knee. And then just invite your breath into that right hip. If you feel the breath is restricted, that you can't take a breath, perhaps the stretch is a bit too deep and we need to modify this, so lowering that foot if you need to. Placing the left foot back onto the earth. Stretch your right leg out long to the end of your mat. Reach your arms over your head, really lengthening out through that right side. Maybe even starting to lean to the left edge of your mat a little bit. And then return back to center, hands down by your side. Bring your right knee back up to a bend, and then we'll cross left ankle over right thigh. You could simply stay here. You could pull that left knee towards your chest or reach through for the back of the right leg or the shin of the right leg, and flexing that left heel, protecting our left knee. And again, breathing into that left hip. We'll lower the right foot back to the earth. Stretch your left leg out long to the end of your mat. Reach your arms overhead. Extend through your body. You might even enjoy stretching over to the right just a little bit. And we'll come back to center, hands by your side. Bend that left knee back up. Pull right knee into your chest, grab the back of the right leg, and just begin to wave your foot up gently, not overstretching. Pull your heel to the sky and then pull your heel back down. Okay, point the toes, lift the toes up, and then flex the heel and then draw it down. Point the toes, lift the toes up, flex the heel, and then pull the knee back down. 2 more at your own pace. Point toes, lift, flex heel, pull down. Last one, point toes, lift, flex heel, pull down. Good. Switch legs, bring left knee into your chest. Grab the back of the leg, lift toes up to the sky, flex your heel, and then pull your heel back towards your hips. Point toes, lift, flex heel, pull down. Point toes, lift, flex your heel, not overstretching. 2 more, just feeling a nice, easy movement here. Last one, lift, flex your heel, and then pull down. And then we'll begin to gently roll to the right side of your body. Sit up when you're ready. And we'll come into a hands and knees position. So coming into tabletop, spread your fingers wide. Untuck your toes. Begin to lower your belly down towards the mat. And then pull the back up towards the sky, round the spine upward. Good. Take a breath in, back into cow pose. Maybe pull your heart through and forward, but not overstretching. And then tuck your tail, rolling up through the spine, as your chin moves into chest. See if you can initiate this movement by rolling the tailbone back. Feel it wave into your low back, rolling up through your thoracic spine, and then lastly moving into your cervical spine. Gaze is forward. Now initiating with the tailbone, we'll tuck our tailbone, feel your navel roll up towards your spine, roll one segment of your vertebra all the way up through the lumbar into the thoracic, and then moving your chin to chest last. Initiate, flare the tailbone back, roll through the lumbar, the thoracic, and the cervical spine as you take a breath in. And roll from the sacrum, the lumbar, the thoracic, and lastly the cervical spine. Good. One more at your own pace. And exhale. And then we'll come just into a neutral spine. Walk our hands up a full handprint. Spread the fingers wide so that we're not putting all the weight in the wrist, but really spreading the weight evenly through the full palm. Energize into the earth. Really feel your hands connecting into that mat. We're going to roll our shoulders on top of our wrists so that we're more in a modified plank. Now, try not to let the belly sag. We're going to draw the navel into our low back. Maybe even squeeze the glutes slightly. Bring the crown of your head forward a little bit more, and this might be enough intensity for you. We're going to stay here for several breaths, so just find a place that works for you. If we want a little bit more intensity, tuck the toes, find a full plank, but don't lose that stability in the low back. From here, breathe. Keep the crown of the head moving long. Extend through your knees. Drive your heels back. Feel the duality as you extend energy out through the crown of the head and also root through the heels. Take one more breath in. And then as you exhale, we'll sit back into downward facing dog. And begin to just let the shoulder blades melt into their appropriate places. Elbows spin a little bit more towards one another, externally rotating the shoulders. Feel supported in the shoulders. This is still an active pose. So we take our first inversion, our head below the heart. Let's go ahead and just walk the dog, pedaling the feet back and forth. It's okay if your heels don't touch the ground, much like mine don't. Making sure that our low back is really prioritized here over the ankles. So we don't want to feel like a puff up of the chest. Maybe just invite the knees to bend a little bit to help the back come into full alignment. So prioritizing our spine through our movement. Take one more breath in as you still the feet, and one more breath out. And we'll look where we're going. We'll begin to bring our gaze up towards our palms and just gently walk yourself to the top of your mat. Let's slide our hands up to our shin bones to support and find a halfway lift. Keep the back and the heart long. Knees stay really bent as we fold forward. Maybe just grab opposite elbows as we hang in a ragdoll. Again, finding a nice inversion. Knees can stay really soft, but kind of root through the full foot. So we're not on the toes and we're not just on the heels. Weight coming through the four corners or 3 points of our foot, whatever is a better visual for you. And just so that we feel really supported, we have about 2 fist distance between our feet. Let the head be heavy. Maybe extend the back a little bit longer and see if you can get the legs to move a little bit straighter. You can find playful movement side to side, or if that feels really unstable and not very relaxing, you could just stay still. Find your breath. And then we'll melt our fingertips down and Bend your knees again, draw your navel up into your spine and roll one vertebra up all the way into standing. Tuck your tailbone underneath you, stack your shoulders on top of hips, sweep your hands over your head high. Maybe even look to your thumbs if that feels okay. And then we'll exhale, swan dive to fold or fold through the center, yogi's choice. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Feel free to keep fingertips on the mat or take hands to shins. We'll bend the knees a lot here, grip our fingertips down, and then just gently step your left foot back. Try not to make a sound. Pull your heart through and forward as you lower your left knee to the mat. Always feel free to use blocks here as needed. Let's keep our back toes tucked. We're going to square our hips together. Pull your heart up as we come into a low lunge. If our shoulders are pretty sore or pretty tender, we can always take hands to heart center as an option. If we have the hands up, let the shoulder blades melt down the back. Take a few cycles of breath. Place the hands back down either side of that right foot. We're going to stay grounded on our left hand. We're going to begin to open up our right leg and step it back. We're going to come into a side plank. So keeping that left knee down, left hand down, reach that right hand up high to the sky. So a lot of options here for all different levels and depending on where we feel like we're at today. So if this feels nice, let's stay here and maybe just reaching the arm overhead long. You could choose to lift that foot up for a little bit more heat if that's what you're looking for. If you would like to take more of a back bend opportunity, we can come into a full side plank and maybe take wild thing here. Wherever you are, begin to reach that right arm over your head long and try to make a long line through that right side body. Take a couple of breaths in and a couple out. Whether the knee is down, that left knee is down, or if it's up like mine, we're going to begin to reach our right hand up to the sky, bend our right knee towards our chest, and step back into a lunge. So right foot's at the top of the mat, right hand circles down to the earth, back heel spins to the mat. We're going to begin to reach up into warrior two. So front knee is bent, gaze over the front middle finger, shoulders are engaged but not tense. So extend energy through the fingertips. Sink into that right knee a little bit deeper. That right knee can be really deep if that feels good to you. Just making sure that that right knee is not collapsed in, that is rolling out, externally rotating, maybe a little bit more towards the right edge of our mat. Maybe take a gentle reverse warrior here, keeping that right knee soft. We'll come back to warrior two. Begin to spin your toes towards the left edge of your mat. Let's take heels in, toes out. Arms keep extending long, and we'll sit into a goddess pose. Good. Holding here. This is a lot on the thighs. You can support with the hands. Otherwise, stay here and build heat in the legs. One more breath in. And then as we exhale, we'll come to stand. Maybe reach hands up for a moment. As we spin our toes in and our heels out, we'll find a forward fold. So we can be pretty lifted here, especially if the back is really tender with forward folds. If we still feel pretty good, we can go a little bit deeper. And then from here, yogi's choice, you can grab the ankles and maybe gently pull yourself forward, or maybe reaching the hands through to the opposite edge of your mat. We'll take a few cycles of breath. And then wherever we are, we'll place our hands down on the mat, find a halfway lift. And then we'll begin to walk our hands back towards the top of our mat. Square our hips to the front. We're going to reach our right hand up high to the sky. Keep that left hip lifted. Back heel is up. And then circle that right hand to the mat. We're going to take our back heel down, maybe step it up slightly. And a great place for blocks here if we need it as we extend our right leg out long. Find almost a halfway lift here, and pyramid pose will begin to fold forward a little bit deeper. Keep pulling that left hip forward. Keep the back heel grounded. And then on our next breath in, we'll look to the top of our mat. We'll soften our right knee and just gently step forward. Feet about 2 fist distance apart. Find your halfway lift of choice. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees. Reach fingertips to the earth lightly as you can. Step your right foot back. Try not to make a sound. Move with intention. Keep the back toes tucked as you lower the right knee to the earth. Pull your heart forward and then come into a low lunge. Hands reaching up or to heart center, yogi's choice. And then we'll sweep our hands back to the mat. We're going to keep our right hand grounded. And then we're going to step our left foot back into side plank. So maybe that right knee stays on the mat. Maybe that left foot can lift if that feels good to you. Or maybe we come into a full side plank variation. Option to even flip the dog. Wherever you are, begin to extend that left arm over your head and find length through the left side body. Take a few breaths here. And wherever you are, begin to lift that left hand up high. Gather up your core as you pull your left knee into your chest. Spot the top of your mat. Step left foot to the top. Right hand stays magnetized down to the earth or a block. Open up that left hip as you spin your chest upward towards your left thumb. Revolved lunge. Avoid letting that right hip roll in a little too much by keeping it lifted. Breathe into your left hip. And then we'll circle that arm down and around. Back heel grounds to the mat, whereas warrior 2. Left arm reaching forward. Right arm reaching back. Sink as deeply as you feel comfortable and whatever your body needs. Maybe thinking about rolling that left knee towards the left edge of your mat a little bit more. Feel that inner thigh begin to open. Softly take a reverse warrior. Light on the backhand, maybe even keeping it active. That hand doesn't even have to touch. And then we'll come back to warrior 2 for just a moment as we spin our left toes towards the edge of our mat. Heels come in, toes point out. Sink into a goddess pose, but stretch the arms out long. Option here maybe to find a shoulder opening. Clasp the hands behind you. Draw knuckles to the floor, keeping the hands close together. If this is too much on the shoulders, just take your hands out, up, or at heart center. Keep the clasp as we draw our toes inward, heels out. Option to keep it as we fold forward. Hands can release if you have the bind. Maybe just hugging opposite shoulders. And then for the last few breaths, just take your hands where they feel most comfortable. And then we'll walk our hands forward to a halfway lift. And begin to walk our hands towards the top edge of our mat. Hips are squared. Keep the right hand magnetized to the earth. Reach that left hand back up to the sky. Circle that left hand down. Spin your back heel to the earth. Maybe step it up slightly. And as we extend that left leg, perhaps we find blocks here as needed. Pull your heart forward long and then forward fold into pyramid pose. Invite breath into the low back. Keep the hips squared. And then we'll begin to look to the top of our mat, soften our left knee, step your right foot forward. Inhale, find a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your hands over your head high. Maybe look to your thumbs as they come to touch, and then forward fold. Inhale, find a halfway lift. And exhale, bend your knees, sit into a low squat. Okay, maybe heels pop off the mat. Chest forward. Maybe fingertips come off the mat as the knees move a little bit more forward. Hands might even come to heart center as you squeeze the knees together. And then we'll bring our hands back down. Keep your toes grounded to the mat, but maybe you keep the heels lifted as we forward fold. Little drinking bird movement here. Elongate through the hamstrings. And then softly sink your heels to the mat. Begin to heel toe your feet wide, maybe wide as the mat or whatever you need to come into malasana or squat pose. Hands press together, elbows press into the inner thighs, chest is up. I will not lie, this is a very challenging posture for me. My ankle mobility and my hip mobility keep me from feeling very, very relaxed here, but that's okay. We're just working on it. So let's just hold this posture for a few breaths. Heels can be slightly lifted as needed. Just try to find a place that you can breathe and that you feel some energy here, but nothing that's too intense that you cannot breathe through. And in your own time and in your own way, we'll come into an easy seat. Perhaps backing yourself up just a little bit onto your mat. We'll bend our knees, pull the right knee into your chest and lower that right knee down so right foot becomes touching the inner left thigh. We'll ground our left hand back behind us as we reach our right hand up to the sky, perhaps reaching forward and maybe even across to the pinky toe edge of our left foot. Take a breath in, expand your low back, and then exhale, fold. You feel the stretch is now over and you feel like you've come to a good place, we can begin to bring that left hand forward. Always knowing that you can support this a little bit more with hands behind you if this is too intense. We'll begin to walk our hands gently back. We'll stretch our right leg back out long and bend the left knee up. Left foot touches the inner thigh of the right leg, making sure we're on the sits bones, kind of moving the flesh of the glutes out of the way as needed. Right hand supports behind us just to prepare as we reach our left hand up high to the sky. Make space through your spine, hinge from your waist, and reach across for the pinky toe edge of your right foot. And it's here that you may realize one side feels a little bit different than the other, and that's okay. We're just observing that. Take a breath, and then maybe begin to reach that right hand forward. My neighbor's cat Sushi is coming to play. Hey Sush. If you've ever done one of my classes before, you've probably seen Sushi. She's my little outside yoga buddy. Wherever you are, begin to walk your hands back. We'll extend the left leg back out long. Let's scoot our hips forward just a little bit more so that we have space as we roll down our spine, maybe one vertebra at a time. We'll take the right leg over the left as we pull our knees towards our chest. We'll take like a reclined cow facing pose. So maybe just grabbing shins here, but whatever feels good to you, we can grab perhaps the heels of the feet. And we can open up the knees as much as we need to feel a good stretch in the right hip. And we can cross those knees over and pull a little closer to you if you need a little bit more. So we all feel very different in our hips. And that can change depending on our activity level too. So just meet yourself where you're at. Know that any posture that feels good to you is a good posture for you. And then we'll gently just let the hands go, but keep the legs crossed. We're going to lower our left foot back to the mat. So again, right leg is on top of left. And we're going to open up our arms to a T and just let the knees drop over to the left side of your mat. Let the legs be really heavy and perhaps even looking to your right palm. Eyes can be closed here. Again, just starting to feel the weight of the body melting into the earth. And we'll take our left hand to help lift our knees back up. Uncross the legs and take left leg over right. Bringing the knees to the chest, we can grab shins or we can grab heels and open up a little bit deeper into this reclined cow facing pose. Again, the knees can be a little unstacked here if that feels better to you, or they can be completely stacked. Just observing what feels like a good stretch to you. And breathe into the left hip. And we'll keep our legs crossed as we lower our right foot back to the mat. So left leg is still on top of right as we open our palms to a T shape. Let the knees drift over to the right side of our mat as we look to the left palm. Feel free to keep the eyes closed. And then we'll use the right hand, to lift our knees back up. Uncross the legs. Bring our knees into our chest. You can just open the knees wide, or you can bind the feet for happy baby. Let the weight of the hands just gently pull the knees down. Stay still or find the last few moments of movement here, rocking side to side. And then we'll hug our knees back into our chest, lower your feet back to the mat. We can find Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly pose, if that feels nice to you. Just letting the bottoms of the feet touch, knees open out. Your hands can rest wherever they feel most comfortable. You may choose to stay in half corpse pose with knees up just to keep a little pressure off the low back. Or you can find full corpse pose, but we'll stay here for a few moments to find our breath. And let's end with a style of breathing called box breathing. So we're going to take a breath in for 4 seconds. We're going to hold our breath for 4 seconds. We're going to take a breath out for 4 seconds. And then hold our breath for 4 seconds. So taking a breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one on your own. And then just returning to normal breath. Melt into the earth. Feel the support. Know that everything that you need to succeed and to go through your day, you already have within you. You're fully supported. You are empowered. a moment to reflect on the intention that you may have set at the beginning of our practice. Begin to just bring movement into the fingers and toes, nothing too aggressive, just gentle movement. Feel the touch of your thumbs over all the fingertips, your toes squishing and opening. Feel free to get long through your body if that feels nice. And begin to make your way to the right side of your body. Use the right hand as a pillow or the right arm as a pillow as needed. And we decide how we want to come up off of our mat now on our decision-making side or right side. Take a moment for gratitude. Set your mindset for how you want to look at the world when you step off your mat. When you're ready, we'll come to easy seat. Feel free to keep the eyes closed. Take a moment to thank yourself for spending time moving your body today. Thank you so much for choosing to move with me. I hope to see you in my next class. We'll pull our hands over our head high, reaching our palms to touch. Let the thumbs draw down over your third eye, all seeing, all knowing, and then into the heart center, feeling the space between our palms, symbolic of our inner light. And the good in me honors the good in you. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.